Well, the measles is back in the news. The United Nations has come out with a stern warning. The organization reporting a 300% jump worldwide in the number of cases in the first 3 months of this year. That's compared to numbers from 2018. They are calling this a global crisis that is well underway. This all comes as we learn of 2 new cases in Canada, in Laval. Joining us this morning to find out why this is happening is Associate Director of the J.D. McLean Tropical Diseases Center at McGill University, Brian Ward, and Professor of Journalism at Ryerson University, Marcia Barber. Good to have you both with us.
Nice to be here.
Brian, I'm going to start with you. Good morning. Canada is number 7 on a UN list of countries where kids are not being vaccinated for measles. I was surprised to find out we were in the top 10. We have measles outbreaks right now in BC and Quebec and New Brunswick. Why is this happening here?
Well, it's happening here because people move around the world very easily, and unfortunately, we have a fairly large number of people in some parts of the country who are unvaccinated or undervaccinated.
Marcia, I want to direct my next question to you. There is a renewed lack of trust around vaccines again. We saw this initially around 2007 in the early 2000s, and again, we've seen information out there. Where does this lack of trust come from with families?
Well, a lot of people are going on social media, and it's a bubble. It's an echo chamber. So people are confirming their biases, and the biases go back to reading celebrities like Jenny McCarthy, the former Playboy bunny and host of The View. And also the Rogue study in 1998, the Andrew Wakefield study, put a lot of doubt in a lot of people's minds. So even though it was completely discredited and retracted, a lot of people have questions, and they're consulting sources that aren't credible.
Brian, there are concerns around vaccinations, around negative effects from vaccines. What are some of the adverse effects that could come from them?
Well, I think the most important thing in this whole question is communication and who you're getting your information from. Really, there's nothing that one does in life that is completely without risk. And so if you compare the risks of vaccines to other daily activities, getting a vaccine is far safer than walking across the road or riding a bike, for example. So there are. Most of the side effects from vaccines are local and transient, so pain at the injection site, sometimes a little bit of fever with some of the live viral vaccines. But the more serious adverse events, which do happen, happen extraordinarily rarely. And they are far rarer than the same kinds of things that happen with natural diseases.
Marcia, I'm going to start with you. How do we fix these concerns? How do we fix this problem of under-vaccination?
Well, I think social media is not the way to go. Traditional media has less authority now in some ways than it's ever had. So I think it happens in the doctor's office. And I say this as a parent. If you have a doctor who will sit down with you and be respectful and take the time, because, I mean, the research suggests more than 90% of people in Canada feel pretty good about vaccines, but almost a third of them have real concerns, and they want to discuss this with their doctors. So the solution, I think, isn't through the media, isn't through social media, but it's that discussion, because look how high the stakes are. We're talking about people's children.
Brian, what can happen to reassure parents who may be uncertain about vaccines?
I think it's very true that the vast majority of parents are asking questions, are asking them because they want to do the best thing for their child. Mm-hmm. And I completely agree with the previous comment that what's missing is the time to communicate risk and communicate benefit with parents who have questions. A very, very small number of people who are against vaccines come to an office to convince the provider that vaccines are bad. Those people really, there's no hope of convincing them. But the vast majority are simply hesitant and have good questions that need to be answered by the healthcare providers.
I want to thank you both for joining us. An important topic to discuss and very timely right now. Thank you so much.
A pleasure.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.